And for me, it happened several years ago, but to me, it just is like a perfect time to discuss this and kind of share this openly with everybody. But have you ever taken a bubble bath or done dishes, and, like hand wash dishes, not dishwasher dishes? Back in the day when I used to wash dishes with my grandmother, it was one of the greatest memories I ever had. I would go to her house and spend the weekend, and she would always pay me $1 to do her dishes. She was actually the one that taught me how to do dishes. And it's just something that I reflect on time and time again, or when I'm showing my kids something simple. And yes, we do hand wash dishes occasionally just to have that experience. But I thought about this the other day. My bath time is like my quiet time, my thinking time. My brain goes nuts. If I'm wanting to strategize or brainstorm in my business, I go take a bath. A shower is the same way. I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of you that have your moments. That's just your gear just it is grinding, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is like, I just need to write this down. Some people, it's when they sleep. I know a lot of people keep journals by their bed. Write those things down. They're super, super important, because I'm going to give you one. When I was washing dishes as a child, my grandmother would always tell me to continually add hot water. And I never really understood it. I just knew the purpose of it. I knew that it was to make sure that the dishes got clean, that, you had good temperature in your water. I didn't know all the logistics of it. I just knew that's what she taught me. But the other day I was taking a bubble bath, and I've actually did a call about this several years ago. But it was about constantly adding hot water to your environment, or to seek the heat. If you draw a bath and you're running water, if you ever notice, if you actually go experiment with this, if you go to add bubble bath or you add dish soap to a running bunch of water, if it's cold or lukewarm, that soap, when it hits that water, actually makes a different sound. It will not bubble. It will not create suds. And it's actually just going to just kind of float in the water. Has anybody ever noticed that? If you have hot water, or a good temperature is hot, and you add bubbles to that water, that same water, or if you start to add hot water, guess what happens? The bubbles start to multiply and they grow faster. So same thing with your dishwasher, or as you're washing dishes. When you continue to add hot water, guess what happens? You're going to refresh the soap. You're going to refresh the bubbles. You're going to refresh the temperature. So it's a little bit about what this call is about. That's an analogy. That's a life story. That's just where this call kind of originated from. But it was about that environment, that heat. That is absolutely key in this business. I'm talking about dishes. I'm talking about hot water. Y'all are probably like, where is she going with this? The environments that you surround yourself with, let's say you're the soap or you're the bubbles. What are you being poured into? What is being poured into you? Are you in hot situations? Are you in cold situations? Are you in an environment where you're not being multiplied or growing or adding? See where I'm going with this? A lot of us, especially through the holidays, it's a time most people withdraw, or maybe things are just busy. You've got family functions, you've got kids going crazy, you've got your house. Y'all, if I turn this computer around, you would be like, holy smokes, how do they live? Honest to goodness, our house is a wreck. I don't even know how we're going to have an event tomorrow night here with team, but I've called in reinforcements for tomorrow. But that's just life. It happens. But absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, this business, this team, what it's done for my family, what it's done for countless thousands of other people is more important to me. And what environments that we're creating, what environments that we're a part of is super, super important. So when you're adding people or when you are growing your team, not only is it important for you to grow, to be inspired, to want to pursue better, to want to grow, to want to push, to be in those environments, the huddle calls, the corporate calls, team calls just like this. Every single day, guess what, y'all? That's adding hot water. You're seeking the heat. Every single time that you tune into that, you're adding that. You're getting value. You're growing. You're multiplying. You're learning. Those environments are super, super, super important if you want to cultivate a team, if you want to grow a business. People that show up, y'all have heard it several times today on calls. Some of us were on the Champ call earlier. Michael Rutherford talked about it. Natalie, Dustin Schaefer talked about being in environments, being at events, and all the top leaders in this company, top 50 income earners, are at events. That's an environment. Y'all know that most people, when they are a part of a community, or let's use church as an example. You go to church because you not only do you get to give, but you get something. You get filled, or you get an inspirational message, or you leave with something. That's the same thing, or that same feeling. Completely different thing. I'm not trying to mix church and prove it here, but you get that feeling of being a part of something, being a part of a community. You're pumped up, you're excited, you see what you're a part of, you see what you're accomplishing, you see what other people are accomplishing. It gives you inspiration, it gives you hope, it motivates you. You come back home, and guess what? That environment is hot for about 2 days. Third day, somebody tells you it's a scam. Oh, that's that ketoacidosis stuff. Or, oh my gosh, you haven't ranked up in 2 or 3 months. What's going on with your business? Or, hey, I haven't seen you post in a little while. You got all this yickety yak yak. That's what I call it. Like people just pooping in your files is what Natalie calls it. And I absolutely love that. But guess what? You're letting cold water and people dump that cold water into your fire. And what happens when you dump cold water on your fire? It's not hot anymore. So I want to talk about managing your state. One's getting environments, making sure that you're getting where you need to be, and making sure that you're getting your people plugged into where they need to be. The calls are super important. Huddle calls every single day. That number needs to be saved in your phone. It needs to be programmed into your new promoters' phones. That probably is like my number one thing that I do with a new enrollee is I make sure that they know every single day. Doesn't matter what's going on. If you don't listen to it on live, make sure you catch the replay because it's always filled with things that are going to light your fire. 2 is when the company has Facebook Lives, corporate calls, events, get to them, get on them. It's going to continue to add water and that heat to what your environment is. It's going to build your fire even more. And it's a must. If you want to grow, if you want to help people, if you want to learn, it doesn't matter if you're here for an income or you're here because you just significantly want to impact the world and the greater good. You need to be fed. You need to constantly be in those environments. So I'm going to stop talking about that for just a minute. The second thing I want to talk to y'all about in seeking the heat is your digital thermostat. Michael Rutherford actually talked about this at LCD training in Louisville a couple of months ago. He stood up and Brian was asking him some questions, our CEO, and he was just simply going, what do you do? What is your daily method of operation? What does a top earner improve it? What is their chain of events throughout the day? What do you do? And he was like, I listen to motivational music. It goes anywhere from TD Jakes to, some Eminem, whatever it was he was listening to. We were all kind of giggling, but then he got really heartfelt and sincere. He talked about the stories and how they compel him. He surrounds himself with people that are pursuing better, that are living better, that are sharing their story. That lights him up. If you're not constantly getting involved in those stories, messaging your team, messaging your promoters, finding out, your customers, what is it that they're experiencing? Our experiences will propel us, but our team and our customers' stories, our friends and our family that are experiencing better that we may not even be knowing about will propel us even further. So that's another part of his DMO. The third thing was making sure that your thermostat stays locked. Don't get to where you're going too cold or too hot. Too hot would be preferably better than too cold, but what he's talking about with that digital thermostat is sometimes people get to a certain point where they're either comfortable They're like, okay, I'm getting my products for free. I'm making a couple hundred extra dollars a month. You know, I'm okay with the amount of work that I'm having to put forth to do this. And they adjust their thermostat. And I will tell you, nothing worth having has ever come easy and not been worth working for. What I mean by that is can absolutely be the easiest thing that you've ever done, but you definitely have to work. You have to share with people. You have to help people. You have to have a heart to go about your day every single day. Who can I help? Who needs this? Who needs better sleep? Who needs more energy? It's not one of those. There's very, very few people in this industry that can sign somebody up, sit back, and collect a paycheck. It's not one of those businesses. Those are actually called scams. This is a viable, is that even a word? A viable business. It pays ridiculously well, but we get to make an impact while we're making an income. We get to be a part of something that genuinely gets to better people's lives. And there's not, in my opinion, there's not anything better than that. The fact that we get to call this work, we get to be on a Zoom at 9:15 at night in our PJs. You know, some of us are rocking kids or putting food away from dinner. You know, we're getting the kids bathed in bed, whatever it is. Maybe you're cleaning with an earbud in. It's awesome. This is work. We get to get up in the morning. Some of us are lucky to call this our full-time job, but most of us work this in the nooks and crannies of our day. We take calls, texts, messages here and there whenever we can. It's not a 9 to 5, somebody pushing your buttons and telling you when and where and what to do. This is I get to do this business, and it's super, super awesome. So making sure that you're adjusting your thermostat is super important. When you go too cold, that usually means you're allowing somebody else's opinions, their thoughts, or their lack of inspiration affect you. So let's say I've seen several chats today. There were just some really, really, group chats are like my number one pet peeve. I am very, very strict about what it's called managing your state, about what I retain, what I listen to. So I'm very, very big, and the kids know this, about music, movies, things. If it has a mixed message or something that I feel is negative, it's gone. I don't spend a lot of time talking with people that just are very, very negative. Like, oh, this and this and that's going on, and I just da-da-da-da-da. Like, I love those people. I'll pray for those people. But things like that tend to bring me down. And I need to be at my best for me, for my family, for my friends, and for this community. I can't give and pursue and push if I'm down. Does that make sense? You ever have somebody that you just get around and they're like this negative Nelly, and like they're just, oh my gosh, this isn't working, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and like it just will drag you down. It's also called drama triangle. We learned about that in LCD, and we can have another Zoom on that on another night. But when you allow people to case build or talk in your chat negatively, or sometimes people don't even realize it, but when they're speaking in a negative manner, or they're talking in a way that is like just bringing everybody down, or bringing a message down, or talking bad about a company, or talking bad about a leader, or talking bad about anything, that is it's a very important part of managing your state, but making sure that you either fix that situation, be a light, just beam positivity and be like, hey, I'm going to be a solution to this issue, or hey, sorry you feel that way, but I'm going to move on over here. Not that I don't love you, I don't support you, I think this is awesome, but I just feel I'll be more productive over here. There's tons of ways that you can manage your state and not be hurtful to anybody. We don't ever want to do that, but some people, like I said, they just don't realize it. But that's very important. You may have somebody in your family that is that way. Somebody that's like, oh my gosh, here it is, the end of the year, and da-da-da-da-da, I don't have money for this, and this and this and that's going on. And like, if you allow that to become your story, guess what? Your thermostat is going to continually inch the wrong way. You want to build that thermostat up. You want to get around people that are hot, people that are excited, people that are on fire. If you'll ever notice, like we have our team groups, When people start posting in there like, oh my gosh, this one so-and-so, go pro, go MVP, this one just hit rank 2, this one just, like, you watch people get fired up. That's a big reason why we have that community support, is because it shows people excitement. It shows people momentum. It shows people that fire. When you are talking to people, like we did this exercise, like where you just kind of sit down and slump in your chair and you're just like, oh, I'm so tired. But if you set up and you lead the conversation with energy and like you like sit down, slump, and try to smile and like tell people that you're excited and like it's the best thing that's ever happened. But if you set up and you're present and your eyes are lit up, like that is fire. People see that. They can hear it in your voice. They can, like, honest to goodness, feel it. It's just beaming off of you. Like if you get around people that are that way, guess what? Your thermostat has no opportunity to go backwards other than forwards, because you're going to feel it. You get around in a church or in a community where people are doing good. We experienced this with the Angel Tree. We got to go to Louisville. We all dressed up, had a great time with some of the champs that were able to make it. We picked 5 names personally from our family, and then we had 2 that our team did off the Angel Tree. But we started with just 2 names. Like our team took 2 names. There was like 20 of us. And Prove It gave us a $200 gift card, like a MasterCard, to go shopping for these 2 children. And they said, you can take donations, you can post on Facebook, you can do GoFundMe, we'll PayPal, whatever. You can meet it, match it, whatever you want to do. You know, it's up to you. We're going to leave that in your hands. And of course, everybody in Prove It's like, okay, we're going to adopt 1 kid. So we each got 1 kid, like that's 20 kids on our team. And then before you know it, like you're watching everybody. You've got like an hour and a half to go all over the mall, across the parking lot to Target, Toys R Us, everything else. We're running around. I'm in a house coat and a muumuu with house shoes. My kids are running around. They're like, hey, Mom, I need a jacket in a size 2. I need this. I need a shoe in a size 3. And like, we're just literally chunking stuff across the aisle. And we're the biggest, brightest, dumbest grins on our faces that you can even possibly imagine. And as that environment continued, guess what? We're bubbling over with joy, with pride that we're able to do this, what we're a part of. We're watching Michael Rutherford and like Jesse Lee Ward. They're posting lives and they're raising all this money. And like Jesse Lee Ward raised like $900, and we're like, oh no. We're going to match that. And so we went and we got another kid and another kid and another kid. And it was like, it was joy. It was positivity. It was something that we got so wrapped up in, and people weren't thinking about themselves for one. They were thinking about being a part of something that was bigger than them. They were thinking about being a part of something that was really making an impact. How many people that they could bless in that short amount of time. And it was fun. It was like the best feeling in the whole wide world. And I cannot wait for more people to get to experience it next year. For us to even do some locally in our environments where we're at in our communities. But that is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Getting around people that are making a difference, around people that are going to speak positive things into your life. There's power and death in the tongue. That is biblical. Like what you speak, what you believe is so, so powerful. But it's just as powerful when other people, and you allow other people to speak those things into your life, into your business, into your family, into your friendships, into any kind of relationship or community that you have. So brings me back full circle to keeping that thermostat adjusted, managing your state, making sure that you're getting involved in environments, that you're being a part of something, surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded, that are driven, that are passionate, that want to be more, that want to pursue better with you. I cannot tell you the difference 1 year ago where we were mentally, physically, spiritually, health-wise, financial-wise, everything compared to this year. 150% more better. I'm going to say more better. My teachers on here are like, but that's like, honest to goodness, I can't even put a word or a feeling behind what this company and what this team, what this whole community and being a part of this has done for me, has done for countless people that I care about, people that I've gotten to know over the past year. I've watched them metamorphose into a better version of themselves. And I want to surround myself with that every single day. We've all got stress. We've all got families that are driving us crazy. Some of us are, still dealing with Hurricane Harvey issues, or, just we're not quite where we want to be financially or maybe in our business. But now is the perfect time of year to seek that fire, to get around people that are going to light your fire every single day. Be careful what you surround yourself with. Chats, groups, put your blinders on, make your line in the sand and be like, this is what I want, this is what I expect, this is what I'm willing to accept, and this is what I'm not. Super, super important moving forward through the first of the year. Determine now what you want to do, what you're not going to do, and just keep charging forward. Don't let anyone, anything, anywhere deter you. Number one. But I will tell you, being a part of this community, being a part of a team that is moving, doing, helping, growing, makes a huge impact. So just some tips to help you get launched into the new year. If you haven't already, be prepared to get resourceful. If you haven't purchased your tickets for Epic, I will tell you the sale on the tickets will probably end very, very soon. But best event by far to kick your year off. It's worth the investment into your business. It's a complete tax write-off. I'll tell you that first off. But you're going to get so much more out of it than any amount of tax cut that you could ever imagine. I'm not sure if she is on, but Heather, I really wanted to ask her to share tonight. Her daughter still, y'all know she had a horrific accident on the trampoline, and keep her in prayer for sure. She's doing a lot better. But I had the privilege of sitting next to her last year at Epic. We had so many tickets that were sold. The event was oversold, and we had a small room that was completely filled, and they had a cry room upstairs and downstairs and down the hall. So they actually had some people in the basement, some people down the hall. They set up live screens to where people could still see what was going on in the main hall. They had people go around and switch out rooms so that everybody got to feel part of it. They did their absolute best at being flexible and adaptable. But I witnessed her going from one room. David was sitting next to me, and Brian stood up on stage and he said, we're super, super, excited that everybody's here. We hate that we weren't able to get everybody in this room, but if any point during this, session, if you feel led to give your seat up and go share with somebody else, please do so. And so David was like, hey, you're here, you stay, you get the meat of it, but I'm going to go give up my seat. He went to the other room and he offered the seat up to some of our team members that were there to give them an opportunity to rotate out and for us to give them an opportunity to be in that room, because that was completely different. At no part on Prove It. They did their best, but it was completely different being in that room, the main room where all the energy and the air felt different, the smoke and the lights and just the music, everything you felt. It was incredible. You go down the hall, you can still get some excitement. It's like watching it on TV. It's like watching a football game on TV versus being in the stadium. Like, that's the difference. I watched her come in kind of just like, oh, I'm happy to be here, to being on fire, ready to go home and just conquer the world after the end of that event sitting next to me. And it wasn't nothing to do with me. It was being in that room. So it's super, super important. I can't tell you how important. We absolutely would not be here. This team would not be here if we had not gone to an event. We actually were flown to West Palm Beach. We were like, hey, we're interested. Want to try this ketone thing. We got ketones in our bodies, started feeling good. Day 2, I'm like, hey, I really want to consider jumping on board, but I need to see the leadership and the heart of this team, this community. I want to meet the CEO. They said, okay, well, how do you feel about going to West Palm Beach? I was like, I'm broke. Broke is a joke. I don't know how the heck that's going to happen. So guess what? All of our support team chipped in on airfare. Michael helped with tickets. We had people that booked hotel rooms for us. The only thing we had to scrape up the money for was a rental-a-car when we got there. We flew into Miami, had 2 days to get babysitters, got there. They had actually paid for VIP tickets for us to go on a catamaran, like a sailboat cruise, sunset cruise, to have some hors d'oeuvres and to meet with our CEO and have a conversation with him. They believed in us enough to know that we meant business and that we had a heart and a passion to help people and that we wanted to grow something big, but we wanted to get an inside sneak peek. We went, we sat down. It wasn't what he said, it was how he said it. It absolutely blew us away being in that small, intimate group, that room. The heart and the focus and the drive and the mission that this company has, starting from Brian down, absolutely won us over. We knew that moment that we wanted to play a bigger part here. And that is where this team originated from. We have so many people that have been to events that have shifted their maybe here to like way over here. They've gone from like just getting started to hitting champion in just a matter of a few weeks or months. And it's just about getting in that environment, about creating that hot water environment. The other important thing that I wanted to kind of share too is getting resourceful. I talked about it a second ago, but you've got tons of support here. You've got champions here that want to see you grow, that want to help you get to places that you need to be. If you feel like there is even a small inkling that you want to be at Epic, you need to reach out. I will just tell you, where there's a will, there's a way. Whatever it is, doesn't matter if you can't get a babysitter or you need somebody to watch your dog or you don't have a dress. I've got 2 dresses in there. They can be altered. Or one of them has a cinch thing. You can actually tie it up. I'll be willing to donate if somebody needs a dress. Like, there's tons of ways. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what you do. Like, I have actually been to events and past before this company where I knew how important it was for me to be there. And I ate sandwiches out of my hotel room that I split with a couple of people. So you do what you got to do. Leaders go to events. Like, you show up, you go up. I've always believed that. That's something I learned many, many, many years ago. And I know that being in that environment is absolutely conducive to what I want to achieve, what I want to help other people do. And, I feel like, and that I'm not going to speak negatively about myself, but there are people that have different gifts and talents and abilities to speak that will be at events. Like, I think that, God gave me certain sets of gifts. He gave me the ability to, do certain things, but there are people that are better at certain things than I am. And I'm perfectly okay with that. But I want to get you around those people. I want you to hear the heart. I want you to feel that compass change for you. I've witnessed that so many times. And if you're a leader on this call, or you've been to an event and you've had team at an event and you're sitting there, maybe you're on your phone, you're doing some three-way chats, or, some of the doctors talking about something and you've heard it countless times and you're taking just a second to text and check on your kids, and you happen to look over and you see your team literally like a kid in a candy store, and they're just sitting there with their mouth open and their eyes are like this big around, and they're just like you can feel it. It's, wow, I'm a part of this. This is incredible. Like, I felt so many people go from, oh, hey, what are you doing? How are you? Like, I'm so excited that you're here, to just being like North Compass. They went from east, west, maybe a little south, to being direct north. They are focused. They are on fire. They are going forward because of something somebody said from the stage, because of a story that they got to hear when they passed around the boom mic from, Susie, Sally, whoever it was that shared about, their kid or their husband or their journey, or, what they've accomplished here. You never know what's going to happen, but absolutely you want to be a part of the environment. Showing up. 90% of success is showing up. And I absolutely believe that. Zoom calls, conference calls, huddle calls, corporate calls, every chance you get. I know some people are like, oh my gosh, the calls. It's for you. It's for your team. It's so that every single day, no matter what mood, what thing you're dealing with, what amount of life is coming at you, you can plug in. You can get your people plugged in. It's an opportunity to reignite that fire. And I kind of feel like there's a little bit of fire that needs to be relit within our team, because it's just holidays. You got distractions, and they can easily distract you. No pun intended. But they can also be your fuel and your fire for moving forward for this next year. your family that you spent time with this year, all the goodies and the gifts that you got to purchase, I promise you, like this year, we actually got to go a little bit more overboard than we ever have. My husband and I have been married 17 years, and we've never given each other gifts, ever. And I actually slipped one big one under the tree while he didn't even know. He was down there handing out kids presents for Christmas. And he was just like, whoa, what does it say to my husband on it? And he opened it, and I purchased my first handgun, and I got to give him a handgun that he'd been dreaming of having forever. And it just felt so good for me to be able to give him something when he wasn't expecting it. But to have that financial ability to not be scraping $5, $10, $15 here and there, to be able to, just afford the kids something a little bit under the tree, we were able actually to give other families a blessing, adopt several children on the angel tree, given our community, several of our next door neighbors lost their homes, and we wanted to be able to make an impact with them. We have lots of things still lined up for them for the new year, and it's just a really incredible feeling. But all of that was because of the environments and what we did last year and continue to do every single day. We're living proof of it. We've got people on this call that are living proof of it, that were able to give their kids, their friends, their families, their communities more this year. And next year will be even bigger because of that ripple effect, that hot water that we continue to add, that we bring people into. As you're bringing people into the community and you're adding them to team pages, I can't even talk. You're welcoming them, and there's fire. The more hot water we pour on that, the bigger the bubbles. So my last final point, and I'll jump off of here, I wanted to kind of keep it short. Imagine you're taking a hot bath, you're pouring the water in, and you're getting some bubbles, okay? What happens if you're in a jacuzzi tub and you turn the jets on? Anybody ever done that? My little girl, we have jets in our new house in our tub, and she thinks that's the coolest thing ever. She loves bubble baths, and she definitely loves jet-powered bubble baths. We actually turn the jets on, and like literally within minutes, or not even minutes, seconds, the bubbles are like up to her eyeballs, and she's got a whole tub full of bubbles. So in my story, where the jets would come in is your community, your support team. You've got hot water in you. You've got tons of, hey, this is great. Here's your first post. Here's what you're going to do. This is your website. This is blah, 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 whatever. That is great. But and you're pouring hot water on them, you're getting them growing. But when you add jet power, which would be your community, your champs, your support teams, such as, top earners, Michael Rutherford, Natalie Kilborn, Kelly Smith, Amanda and Chad, us, you're adding jet power to your hot bubble bath, and you're going to have a lot more bubbles. Does that make sense? You want to connect people into that community. You want to connect people into your support team. If you're, some people are really, really great at adding that hot water and getting people going, but imagine how much bigger, how much more you could accomplish, and what bigger results you could get if you use jet power. So I'm not saying that we're like the bomb diggity. You've got a lot of amazing resources within your community, people that broke records coming in, people that have humongous paychecks coming in every month because they're making an impact in thousands and thousands of people's lives. They give to this community every single day, calls, countless three-way messages, phone calls, last-minute texts like, hey, how can we help, whatever. And then they've helped a lot of people get to events. They've bought tickets and airfare, hotels. You've got tons of people on here that are willing to do the same thing and chip in, but you've got to use us. So I just want to leave you all with that. Make sure that you are plugging into the hot water. Make sure that you're continually adding that hot water, encouraging, empowering, speaking, managing your state, making sure who you surround yourself with, what you're being a part of, what you're allowing to go in here, what you're allowing to come out of here, especially moving forward into 2018. A lot of us are doing vision parties. We're doing here locally in Lumberton, outside of Beaumont, where we live. We've got a couple of teams that are doing them. I know there's a Georgia team one. There's a couple just random places. Michael's doing one in San Diego. We're going to provide a Zoom link for anybody that is maybe out of state or out of our area that can't make it to one locally to them. We've got a couple of guest speakers that are going to be hopping on at random times to share just some encouraging thoughts and words into 2018. And we're just going to be creating our vision, putting things into purple, manifesting it, as Mitch says, and just getting ready for an amazing, amazing year. Like this year, I don't even know how I can top it, but I'm just ready. I'm believing, I'm receiving. I'm ready to see where all this leads next year, how many more boxes are on the screen. And I will just tell you, like, always seek the fire. Pursue what you want with reckless abandon. Determine that no matter what, you're moving forward. Like, what you want, set it now. And say, you know, like, I don't know if y'all were on the huddle call this morning. If you're not, you need to go listen to the replay before it records again tomorrow. But Dustin was talking about Francisco, and I actually have the check. I'm going to post in the team page. But it's like a universe check. It's like signed by the universe. And he put it over his bed. He put a dollar amount on it, printed it out, put it over his bed or by his bed so that he would see it every single day of the dollar amount that he wanted to earn or be paid. And I really thought that was super, super powerful because I've always done sticky notes. Like, you know, hey, we tell ourselves all the negative things. I wanted to put positive thoughts into my day. So whatever I wanted to speak into my life, I would put on Post-it notes so that I would constantly see it. Or if it was something I was working towards. You know, they used to tell you that if you wanted to lose weight, put a picture of yourself on the refrigerator. That's a negative. Put something positive on there. You know, hey, you've got a goal. Make sure that you meet this goal by this date. You know, something that's going to motivate you and inspire you. But I think that's powerful. Like, whatever you want to set, you know, if it's maybe a 6-figure or, you know, 50 grand or 25 or 10 or whatever it is, you know, that you feel would be a stretch. Like, don't make it so attainable that you're like, I can do that tomorrow. But make it to where it's something that's going to stretch you. It's going to push you every single day when you look at it, and just keep working towards it. Don't let anybody else's opinions, their naysaying, their limiting beliefs put a lid on you. Continue to just shine bright and grow that fire every single day, and be prepared to be amazed. Because I look back this year at what we've accomplished, not only for ourselves, but as a team. Millions of dollars that have went through our websites, helping people get started on their journey to better. I can't imagine the stories that we don't know of people that have found what we have. I've had my husband back. I have my kids like normal. For me, I feel like supermom. Like, those simple things we can't put a price tag on, but knowing that we get to play a part of that should light your fire every single day. So before I start getting emotional or anything, I'm going to hop off of here. If you have any thoughts, if you have any, like, hey, I want to go to Epic, or hey, is there any way that we can make this happen? Or, do you have anybody that has extra space in the room? I'll sleep on an air mattress, whatever it is, don't be afraid to ask. Like, we want to help you get there. We want to make sure that you have every resource and tool available to you to make that happen. Tickets are still available. I don't know for how long. We are almost sold out. I know that the space is very limited. We don't want to end up with those cry rooms in the basement room. We'll make sure that everybody's in that environment. But we definitely want you to be a part of that. It's in Boca Raton, Florida. First event we've ever had there. It's going to be off the chain, amazing, and an epic event. Like, couldn't be a better word for it. So we're going to hop off. I appreciate your time for being on here tonight. It says a lot to me about, your investment and what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're willing to do to meet your goals. Just thank you. I appreciate the time. Y'all have an amazing night, and we will see y'all again soon. Bye, y'all.